Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Monday night live stream here at Joe Daddy's Garage. If you haven't been here before, basically we focus on, or try to focus on, we try to focus on classic cars, Mustangs, Camaros, mopars, whatever. And sometimes we stray off that path. Sometimes. I know last week I had some things I had to talk about, and I talked about, and we may continue that conversation. But for now, the goal is to talk about cars. Now, in that, we also ask if people have questions that they ask, questions in the comment section. And typically, if I have an answer or if somebody else has a good answer, they get a bell because we appreciate that. If not, well then I don't have anything. It makes like a negative sound, so I can't really do anything about that. But we try to answer questions and try to keep things moving. I already see I have a great group of people here in the chat box over that way. So let me see who is here. I have David Willis. Hello, everyone from Scottsville, Virginia. Barry, hope you're doing okay. Yes, I am doing okay. Thank you. Terry Keithley checking in. Glad you're here. Jessica from Jessica's Two Car Garage. Glad you're here. She says, looks like the NASCAR guys finally got to take to the dirt. I have not checked up on that, but I've heard that, but I have not looked at it. Leonard checking in from the Windy Hide Desert. Glad you're here. Sammy Lisa Smith. Hello, Barry. Hello. Randall Heath checking in from Mountain Green, Utah. Glad you're here. Rick Stevenson is here. Glad to see you. You're here, Rick. Crash Rider, welcome back, Joe Daddy. Waiting with anticipation from Southern Indiana. 11 waiting with only 7 thumbs up. Let's hope that improves. Rick, hi, Barry. Can I have a bell ring, please? I don't know why, just looking for attention. I don't know that I can do that. I guess I could do that for you being the first Rick. No, wait, you're not. That would be Rick Stevenson. So I can't give you a bell for that. We're waiting on the first Dave to show up. And there he is. So there's the first. Well, I'll give Dave bell. And I'll give a bell for Rick and Rick. Glad you're here. Yeah, Winged Warrior. That's Dave, by the way. Joe Pandola checking in from Massachusetts. Hope everyone is doing well. Yes, I hope everyone is well that is here. Wally checking in from Canada. Glad you're here. Ish 419. Hello. BK Woods. Hi everyone. Harvey checking in from New Jersey. Glad you're here. DP, good evening everyone. Benny Alvey. Hey Barry, checking in from Paducah, Kentucky. In the shop aligning front sheet metal on the 65 fastback. I drove right through that area this past weekend. I was up there, but not that I could have stopped him. That was not an option. But I kept joking with my wife when we were seeing the signs for Paducah. I would say Paducah, just kind of it's a funny word to say, Paducah. Blue Oval fan checking in from Northern California. Glad you're here. Kenyon C is asking 4-link versus leaf springs. That's a good topic. They both, I would say, have their advantages. 4-link, you can do more tuning with it. You can adjust spring rates and stuff like that. Great for drag racing. We know that much. Leaf springs, you're kind of limited. Once you get them in, you can't do much. I mean, you could add traction bars or slapper bars, and you could try to do stuff with shock absorbers. But typically, if you're looking for something that's more tunable to how you like to drive, I would go with the 4-link. Anybody else have an opinion? Chime in. Robert, the Infernal Craftsman, checking in. Big Red 67, Robin. Hey. Glad you're here. Rally Harvey, working on Tina, the 68 Mustang, while watching. That's a good thing. I'll give you a bell for that. Phil, checking in from Northern California. Wish my name was Dave. No, you don't. we have too many Daves. Robert Ellis finally got to join. Oh, I'm glad you're here. Ben has bringing you a coffee. Thank you for that. I appreciate that, Ben. That's awesome. And speaking of coffee, I have something I need to show you all tonight. I usually have my cup of coffee, right? And before too long, it gets cold. Well, guess what? I now have a little coffee hot plate. March Indy sent me. So March Indy, Rich, gets a bell for the hot plate, and it seems to be working. And now I have my coffee on my hot plate, so I don't have to panic about it getting cold. Robert, working on a 66 coupe. Cool. Richard says hello to everyone. Glad you're here. Richard Byrne. Dave and Cheryl, hello everyone. Hope you all are safe. Yes. Ish, what is your take on the EPA's Clean Air Act versus the RPM Act? I haven't looked into the Clean Air Act specifically. I know the RPM Act, for at least what my understanding is, it's going to be a nightmare if that gets put through. But I have not researched very much of either. I'll say that. But I do not support any legislation that limits what we can do with our cars and our hobby and that sort of thing. David Sherrill, we finally got the brakes loose on a Thunderbird. Well, that's a plus. Be a bell for that. Robert, leaf springs are my least favorite suspension, but 4-link is costly. I wonder about putting in the IRS from an Explorer close to width to the 67, 68 too. That's interesting. Hadn't really thought about that. Can 1-inch wheel spacers on 67 Fairlane front end go or no go? I love the wheels, not the offset. Well, let me ask you this: or what are you doing with it? That's probably the first question. Are you just driving a car, or are you, out racing the car? Are you trying to make something that handles corners? All that comes into play. I'm not against the spacers, as long as you're not doing something that's going to, make it more risky because you have a lot of stress load on it. So, just saying. Marchini, glad you like it. Double bonus for you as I use your Amazon link. That's a good call. Not only do I get a coffee warmer, but he used my Amazon link to get it. That's a thumbs up right there. Rick, any progress on our name for the 68 Coupe, or will it default to Dave? We've had several names cast around for the red Mustang, and I have not committed to anything just yet. Because first of all, I hate to say this, but I'm not really a fan of red on a Mustang. I'm not. I mean, I get it. It looks good, but it's just not my color choice. So I don't even know if the car will stay red. So I'm kind of like, somebody had suggested Red Dave, and I like that, but I don't know that I don't know that I would want to keep it, because I don't know, depending on what I do with it, whether it'll stay red or not. But haven't fully committed to any kind of name for the red 68. Barry Patterson, Barry checking in from Chesapeake, Virginia. Cool. Glad you're here. There's several Terrys here now. Dave Conville from Jersey. Glad you're here. Dan checking in from the Sandbox. Glad you're here. Morning. Yeah, I need to verify some color with you, Dan. So I know you probably sent me the code, and I know we have the chips for the bike, but I need to verify exactly which code it was. I think I have it saved, but I don't know for sure. So, Thirstall Garage, hey Barry, Doug from Michigan, wrestling with the firewall on Cal tonight. I'll be listening while I work. Yeah. I mean, it's always tough to get that stuff lined up, and maybe we can work on that, later on or something. But we'll see what happens. Sammy, Lisa Smith, we like the bike. What is it? It's a Triumph. Now, I don't know. I think it's an 05. Dan can probably give us some more insight on it. I don't know the exact model, but it's a Triumph. It's going to be, it's kind of a cafe style bike. But I don't know. I know it's a Triumph. I don't know what size it is. I don't know anything about it. All I know is I have to do some customizing to it. So, Rick, how long did you have Jade before you named it? That's a good question. I think early on I named it because I think in one of the first video, I think I had it named. I think. I know it's titled Jade in the list in the playlist, but um, I'm pretty sure I had it named pretty early. Robert says just call the 68 Red. Yeah, Red Sonja, right? Red Sonja. Clark Clifford, new name, formerly Red Dave. Rick, my 66 Coupe was red, original silver car. Had I restored it, it would have gone back to silver. Oh, interesting. Cooter, hello all. Enjoyed the M4 tractor thumbnail. Yeah, I have some more pictures we're going to discuss probably as we go forward about the M4. David Sherrill, don't forget to hit the bell or the thumbs up. Yes. Dave Conville, Red Dave sounds vaguely communist. Yep. DP name for the 68, a little bit. I like it. I'm going to work a little bit on a little bit. Blue Oval, in regard to car regs here in, I guess, Sacramento County, I guess, they're now made it illegal to do substantial car repair at your home. Guess too many junkyard looking homes, but you definitely would be an outlaw here. Yeah, I won't be there. Caden, I'm here. I'm glad you're here. Terry Patterson, where is Iron Man? He's here. You have to find him. That's your challenge. Find Iron Man. And there's a couple other things that are a little bit different in the shop. A little bit. And you might notice them. I'll let you notice those things. I'm not going to point anything out specifically, but there are a couple things that are going to be a little different. So, Ish. So, what color are you thinking of? I'm not really thinking of a color at this moment for the red 68. I am still debating, considering, discussing whether it's going to become a fastback or not. There's a chance. I might go ahead and do the conversion on it. And then at that point, it really doesn't matter because, if I do that conversion, I'll probably do it and sell it, to somebody who wants it. I don't know that I would go through the whole build process. It would just be doing the sheet metal work and probably get it into epoxy and go from there. But that's higher on the table right now. Let's say a little bit higher on the table as far as options. So it may become a fastback. We're not sure yet. I have to do some funding for that. Dan paint code is 5001 in the book. Good. I need to know that. Let me write that down. Because I'm planning on going to the paint store tomorrow and see if I can't get some paint. And it's a 2006 T100. So there's the answer to the Triumph question. What is it? Now I know. Because I couldn't tell the difference. I don't know. Never messed with Triumphs. But now I'm going to be painting the tank and doing a few other things. I started a video on it today, talking about it, what's going to happen, and I may have to. We may have to talk about some things also, Dan, but maybe not here. Maybe we can do some messaging. Denny, Jordy's known for red clay. I would name the car Clay. That might work. Robert, my 66 had probably 6 to 7 paint jobs, and I'm sure one of them was red. It will be Arcadian blue when done. Now that Arcadian blue, that's the baby blue, right? I think that's what color I painted the 65 that I did several years ago. That really light blue. Jessica, not surprisingly, 2 California Senate officials are trying to get the president to ban new sales of gasoline vehicles by 2035. Yeah, No bell for that. No, there's no way they're gonna. Well, we're not getting into that. They're trying to make. So we're all gonna do electric. No, it's not gonna happen. Louisville. Oh, do the conversion. I'm considering one on my '66 coupe. That's a thought. Far away, checking in. Awesome. If you haven't been following his channel and seeing what he's doing, with paint and stuff, you need to check him out. Got some good stuff on there. He's got some good stuff. So really good paint tips and stuff like that. Terry Patterson, is that a Triumph behind? Yes, it is. It's a T100 that I'm going to be doing some work to. So we had ish T100 like the Terminator movies. Yeah, there you go. I think it was it T100 or T1000? I think it was T1000. I think it was T1000 for the Terminator movies. You're close though, I think. Robert Ellis is saying correct. I don't know what we were correct about. Sorry. Oh, okay, the blue color. Got it. And paint it Rosso Corso, big middle finger to Ferrari, putting it on a Ford. There you go. Ray, I think we talked about your name before, and I forgot how it was said. Kanaya? I can't remember. But I'm glad you're here. Caden, Ruger, Weatherby, Colt. Yeah, yes. Whatever you want to send me. T1000. There you go. I get a bell for that. T1000. How far away did you get my decal? That's a good question. I may not have yet because I've been out of sync for the last week and a half, and I probably haven't gone check my PO box. So that's something I need to do. I'm glad you mentioned that. I'll have to go check out my PO box far away and see if it's in there. So I'm pretty sure it's where you sent it to my PO box. So I'll have to go check that out because it's a cool logo. Decal. I like that. I like your intro too. The whole gorilla thing. That's cool. Austin Baxter. Hi, Barry. Glad you're here. Caden, Colt, since it's a stand and you're. Oh, wait. Colt, since it's a stand and your audio is cracking. What? What are we talking about? Is the audio okay? Are we messing up? Blah, 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 blah. I can't tell. I don't know. You have to tell me. James Mother has been watching 68 Mustang Restoration on YouTube. I'm excited to do the washer pedal mod. Oh, so you've been watching Wally. Yeah. Good deal. Good deal. That's a great mod he did on that thing. Okay, so Dave says you were hanging up a bit. Better now. Okay. Yeah, who knows? My wife might be streaming a movie or something in the house, but pre-performance Mustang audio just fine in North Carolina. Thank you. Yes, sir. Yeah, Wally's got some great stuff. I'm serious. 68 Mustang Restoration. Wally has some really great stuff on his channel. I enjoy watching it. Dave, did anyone happen to see the 70 Mustang on Barrett Jackson had the emblems ghosted on? Very sharp. Have not seen that. I like the idea though. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, Cade says I meant Stang. Okay, so you're really throwing me off there. Okay, now you can hear me good. What is Wally's restoration channel? It is 68 Mustang Restoration. 68 Mustang Restoration. He's on here. Let me see if I have his. I know he checked in earlier. I I don't know if I don't know where. Trying to see him pop up. I can't. I must have lost him in the mix. But it's 68 Mustang restoration, and it's a 68 convertible. So you can check that out. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, and the last live stream I did was on Monday. Did not do it on Thursday because we had to travel. So for those of you that were here, I talked about my brother has passed away, and we had to take care of some things. So we went up to where he lived in Kentucky and did did the thing, family thing and funeral thing and all that. So um, anyway, I had some good conversations with his wife, and we talked about cars and stuff he did and different things like that. And she actually asked me to go through a trunk that he had, and there was some stuff in there that was family type things, but I wanted to show you this because these are some pictures that. Uh, thank you guys. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, far away. Yeah, it was unexpected, really unexpected. He was 59, and he was a heck of a mechanic. I can tell you that. Fix anything. Um, and sometimes life comes up and hits you, and that's where I'm at right now. I'm kind of still, last week I wasn't feeling very motivated to do much of anything, and this week is kind of I'm getting there. You know, I have to be out here in the garage. This is my thing. This is my you know happy place, so to speak. But I wanted to show you these because these are those pictures. The one I posted up on the thumbnail. This first picture. Now these pictures I had not. I can't recall that I've ever seen these, and he had them put away, and it's just really cool. So this picture, now mind you, this is probably, uh, gosh, it would have to be mid mid to late 60s, and that is an M4 high-speed tractor or a tank retriever. Um, and if you look, it's got a car on the front of it. So he was doing some. This was my dad's rigging, um, but we used to use this thing to crush cars and run over, just move stuff around and just, really tear things up. So these other pictures, again, I have not seen these before. So I want to show you this. This is a configuration we have. If you'll look at the very top of it, there's two bars, say, sticking out over the front. That's actually two pieces of railroad track. And those two pieces of railroad track are mounted to a lug, let's say on the front, and supporting the railroad track. And then you go aft, go to the back, and the back is where the winch was. And so there's a cable coming over the top. The cable is in front of the very front panel of the vehicle. That was all part of a rigging my dad had to lift cars, to move them around. And so I'm gonna show you this picture because this one describes it better, um, but it's kind of hard to see it very well. Now this picture is basically in the backyard. This is where our junkyard was. If you see that, well, it's just a boom sticking out of the front of the tank. Okay, that is a truck frame from like an international something, big long straight truck. And my dad modified it, cut it so, and tapered the frame into a point at the front, and then probably about 2/3 maybe of the way down is a mount point for the cable. And so the winch that was on the back of the tank came up over the top through a big pulley, came to the front, hooked to the midsection of that boom, kind of like an old steam shovel. You know, they had the big boom on the front there, or a drag line type of thing, and that he could raise and lower that frame or that boom. And what he would do is drive it through the windshield of a car, and then pick the whole thing up and drive it around wherever he wanted, and then put it down. And so that was the homemade junkyard destruction device. Now, you know, I remember that thing as a kid. I remember riding in it. You know, Dad would crush cars in it, all that stuff. And that snow that you see in that picture, this tells me that this is probably 1977 or 78, because we had this massive snowfall. Actually, no, that's going to be, I take that back. That's probably before that. That's probably before that. There's not enough car. Well, the snow's so deep, maybe there are cars up there. But 77, 78, the place was full of cars in the background. But regardless, it was a beast. And we used to, you know, ride that thing all over the place, go through the woods. In fact, one of the things I retrieved from my brother's cache was a videotape that I filmed probably around 1990 of he and my uncle and all several of us riding around on the tank and just driving through the woods, running over things, having a blast. So I'm going to try to get that converted to DVD and then push that onto the channel. I want to show that video on the channel and have it on here. So that's going to be in the works. Let's see. Okay, it's Troy. Thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Okay, Farways, take your time. Condolences, Barry. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yogi says hi. Jessica, my dad has been in a coma for a year now. I really miss working on cars with him. I very much understand your thoughts right now. I will send you my prayers. Thank you, Jessica. I appreciate that. Thank you, Farway. Oh, and it's right, and it's right back at you, Jessica. Good call, Farway. Good call. Clark looks like a prototype M88. I don't know. M4 high-speed tractor. That's all I know. David Sherrill, prayers to you and family. Thank you. Now let's keep Jessica in mind too. Her dad is, you know, been in a coma for a year. That's pretty scary stuff. That video would be great. Yes, it will be a great video. And I have more pictures I want to show you as well. That is cool. Necessity is the mother of invention. Yes. So I want to show you these pictures. Now, these other pictures are, I don't know exactly when. I know where they were taken. There was a field across from the junkyard. It was just a farmer's field. He just grew hay there. But apparently my dad, and I'll show you this, but there's a plow on the front of the tank. It's a tapered plow. Okay. Now I don't know exactly what his plan was here, but somebody got their thumb in the picture too. But you see on the front there, that's the plow. That piece of metal you see angled back, that's the plow. So like on a big train, you would see a tapered plow like that. That's what that is. Now, from there, I'm not sure. I guess it had the same winch. He rigged up the winch the same way to where he could lift the plow. But for some reason, he decided to ram this Plymouth. Again, I don't know why. I don't know what he was just experimenting. I don't know. But this poor Plymouth took a shot from, or maybe he was just using the plow. Maybe he didn't ram it. I take that back. Maybe he was using the plow as a lifting device. This may have been pre-boom. I bet you that's what it was. He was just hooking the plow underneath the side of the car to pull something out. Who knows what? But pretty interesting. I've never seen those pictures before. I was really surprised when those showed up. But yeah, get creative when you have stuff like that. And as it turns out, the tank was something my uncle bought. He was actually in the military. He was a tanker in the military, but that thing he bought from somebody else who had bought it from a World War II auction or something, and they used it to drag logs out of the woods. It was a logging vehicle, and so my uncle got a hold of it, and then it became the junkyard vehicle. And believe it or not, that thing had a 6-cylinder gas engine in the mid rear section, and it it ran forever, and I mean forever. In fact, I found out that my brother, he sold the tank last year. He sold it, and it was running. It was still running. But the video that I have is, you're going to see it. The whole top of it's gone. It's just 4 bucket seats welded to the front. Where the controls are. Just 4 bucket seats welded onto the thing, and so we use it like that to go through, trees and whatever. Let's see, James. If you have gotten welder's flash, how do you deal with it? I've never had welder's flash, so I can't say if everybody else has. I have heard it's not fun. I definitely have heard that, but I've always, I guess, been lucky that I've always had my hood or closed my eyes quick enough or whatever that have never had welder's flash. So yes, you're welcome, Jessica. Yep, Kevin, Cheryl, Steve, Footage Factory checking in. Glad you're here. Hope all is well. Hope all is well. Okay. So, like I said, the plan, at least for this coming the rest of the week, I have something else I have to take care of, but and that's nothing bad. It's just we have a camper, and our refrigerator quit, which is never good. Never good. So I'm gonna have to go take some measurements and stuff and figure out what kind of refrigerator I can put into it. But regardless, while I'm doing that, I'm also going to check on paint for that, because I'm going to paint that tank, and so I need to get that addressed. And then again, the plan is to redo. He's going to put a cafe style seat on it, but this has a steel plate where we're going to do fiberglass instead. I may have to redesign mount points and all that stuff, because he had some work done to it at another location, but it's not what he wanted done, so I'm going to have to kind of redo some things, make it right. Troy, do you recommend some epoxy primer since you've used it? Is it cost effective? I can't say if it's cost effective, because I don't know what other products cost. I don't know what I have my own supply of materials that I've had here for a little while. I don't know what I paid for my last batch of epoxy from PPG. I don't have a clue. But from a use standpoint, I'd recommend it. I would. I've used it and I liked it. In fact, I thought, and I may not have. I don't know if it showed up on the last block sanding video. It may be on the Patreon video that I posted, but I thought I had an issue with the trunklet, the decklet. There was a dark spot, and initially I thought that I had a bonding issue with the epoxy and the high build that I had sprayed. I thought there was a bonding issue, because basically when I took the deck lid, I turned it over and done the bottom side, and when I took it off of the stand, it looked like it had pulled some of the high build off of the epoxy, and I thought, oh no, that's not a good sign. Now that epoxy was the Summit brand, okay, and the high build is PPG, so I was kind of experimenting. Well, when I saw that spot, I kind of was feeling a bit panicked because I thought this is messed up. This is going to cause problems. So I let it go. And I figured, well, when I get around to it and I start doing the next round of high build, I'll find out what happens. I'll start sanding and see what happens. Well, it ended up, it wasn't that it pulled high build off of epoxy. The high build pulled something off of the stand. So there was something on this, like the plastic on the stand. I didn't have paper on it. So there was something on there, and the high build was not completely dry, I guess. And so it bonded to whatever was on the stand. And then when I pulled it off, it stayed on the high build. So there was no issue at all. I block sanded that thing off, and that paint that was there went away. And again, I thought it was the other way around. I thought the high build pulled off of the epoxy, but the high build took it with it. So if there was an issue, I think it would have separated the high build from the epoxy. Would have done it the other way. I don't see any issues with it. So at this point, I'm okay with it. Fast and Furious. I work in a junkyard now. Kind of crazy to watch all the cars getting carried around with forks through the windshield. Yep. Yeah, anymore the new stuff nobody really cares about. But back then, my dad didn't care either. I remember seeing 57 Chevys. Oh, he'd drive that big boom right through and pick the car up and run it over and smash it. And, you think about all this trim and all the chrome and all the stuff you can't find, and all of it was just crushed, gone. Beacon Woods, great old pics. Thanks, Dave and Cheryl. Great to have pictures from memory. Yes. Ish. I bought a factory correct carb for my 62 T-Bird. I might rebuild it myself and want to verify the cleaner that you use berries. Yeah, I mean I've used that. You just want to see me do this again, don't you? You just want to see this picture, don't you? I don't know why that thing's made that way. That's what I've used. Be warned, follow the instructions. Follow the instructions. You don't want to leave it in there like weeks at a time. I mean, look at what it tells you and follow the instructions, because you could cause more problems if you let it in too long. I've had somebody else mention that to me, that it can only be in there so long. So just keep that in mind. Ish, were you by chance the one that asked me about offsets or my wheels? Because I had somebody email me, and I haven't gotten back to them yet. They were asking me about the wheels on Jade. So, but the name sounded familiar. So I don't know if it was you or not. But if it is, I haven't done it yet. Just saying. Doyle welder splash. Visine and time. Don't weld for a couple days. Dim lights in your room, and as well, sunglasses outside will help healing. Well, there you go. That's a good answer. Yeah, anymore for me, I hate to be outside, period, without sunglasses on. I mean, I've already driven at night with sunglasses on because I hate the high beams, the super bright lights now. Kills my eyes. Troy, good to know. I'm going to Summit this weekend to pick some up. Cool. Sounds good. Wally, at the time, they were just old cars. Yeah, good point. Nobody thought about it being valuable till now. Okay, so yeah, the Berryman wheels, no sir. Okay, well, somebody else with a similar name, I can tell you that. And I don't know. Well, I'll have to double check. I think it's Ismael, Ismael. So I'll have to get back with him. Ray, what are you using for the high build primer? I'm using PPG brand Shopline high build. It's what I've always used, and I haven't had any issues with it. So that's what it'll be continuation of. I think I have, only because somebody gave it to me. I don't know where it's at right now. I think somebody gave me a gallon of Summit brand high build, but I've not even opened it. It's somewhere here on the rack. Um, but I haven't even tried it, so I don't know how good it is. Okay, so the question is, has anybody found Iron Man yet? Because if you find Iron Man, you're going to find something else of interest. So, and there's another item in the shop that's different. And if you've seen it, if you've been paying attention in here, you kind of know the layout of the shop. And um, anyway, just let me know. Don with Betsy saying hello and hope you're doing well. I am, Don. Thank you for asking. Dr. Boone, those super bright lights, they keep drivers. Wait a minute. The super bright lights drivers have will fit in a 6760 Mustang. I have it set in both Mustangs. Okay. Ray, is that the JP202? Yes, it is. That's exactly what I'm using. Yep. It says yes in the car. Dr. Boom. Keep Jeep. Not sure what that means. Anyway, ish here. Yeah, okay. Dave says I may be wrong. I think Iron Man is driving the pickup truck. Yes. So those of you that are on here, you already know, I have Iron Man in my shop. Well, you'll probably see that truck in the background occasionally, maybe. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Let's see. Oh, I'm getting a notice my connection is unstable. If you're on Wi-Fi, try plugging into your router, moving closer to it. I'm not. I'm on Ethernet, so I hope Ethernet's not messed up. Yeah, Iron Man is in the model car. Yeah. Well, what's significant about that truck is that's a Tonka truck, 1960 something Tonka truck. That was my brother's truck. It was his toy truck. When in 1967 he was given that truck, and so I ended up with it. Somehow, some way, it's here, and so that's kind of, I've talked about it before. I have a shirt that I hang up over here in the corner that was from my uncle, who passed away last year. I've had that shirt in the shop ever since the doors opened, and because my uncle's here with me, so that's why that shirt is here. So that's why that truck is here. You see right there. That's one of those Tonka record trucks. So my brother's with me, in a sense. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Wade, hey Barry, I have a Mr. Cool question for you. I have a building similar to yours, a large initial garage, 35 by 40, and I just added a 6 by 25 addition for dedicated workspace, paint, etc. Okay. That's a little bit bigger than mine. That's a lot bigger than mine, actually. Mine's 24 by 36. So that's just, that's a bit bigger. Yeah. Okay. Faraway saying you are lagging. Okay. Well, now it's looking like, hold on a minute. I hope it's working okay. Let me see what my, see if this is connected. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Okay. So it's good right now. Okay. Sorry. I don't know what was going on there, but I'm glad looks like it's working out. Wait, now they have multi-head units. Given your experience now, would you stay with a single head or do you put in a second smaller head to zone the addition? I would. Well, I don't try to heat the back area, the paint booth area at all. I don't try to. Uh, but for my space, with the 24 by 36 and the ceiling height is what really kills it. Um, I would have considered putting in another head unit on the other side of this space to try to accommodate all that um, for the you know for the Mr. Cool. Because a single head is not going to be, to me, not big enough for the space that you have for sure. But at least on the double head, if you had one in that additional area and one in your prime, that might, and I don't know what your ceiling is. If you have it closed off, that's going to help a ton. But mine is, open rafters with the spray foam up top. So that's the only problem I have with that. So and air movement. If I had a fan or something, which I do, I have like a window fan unit that from Harbor Freight. I think it's from Harbor Freight, where it's one of these deals where you can turn it on and then reverse the flow. I turn that on and I have it blow down, and it actually helps a lot. So otherwise, the heat gets trapped up in that area. So I hope that helps. But I would, definitely do at least a double head unit for the area you have it, at least. Okay, so Mason, how's it going? I'm doing good right now. I'm in the shop with my grandpa. Him and I have the garage open, and we have the hardtop convertible backed out of the shop. Cool, good deal. Robert, for that size shop, I'd be looking around 4 tons of AC, depending on location, etc. Good call. Yeah, it's gonna need plenty. All right, so it looks like we're doing better. All right, so Mason's gonna be moving a car around soon. Wade, drywalled ceiling. Okay, that's gonna help. That's gonna help. Um, but I'm gonna say you at least a double head unit. Now it's going back to that stupid Wi-Fi thing. I don't understand what's going on. My Wi-Fi is messing up, or my Ethernet, or if my wife's in there unplugging things. I don't understand what's going on. So if I'm blurry, I apologize. I don't know what's going on. I know we had an issue a couple weeks ago where my computer shut off on me and I was gone. Um, I don't know if I can. I don't know if. Yeah, Gremlins. Yeah, could be. Could very well be. I don't know if I can actually access this from my phone or not. Okay, it says I look clear. All right. Well, as long as it's working, I'm not going to get too worried about it. But I don't understand why it's acting the way it is. Because I mean, I've got an Ethernet cable out here now. Should not have a problem. I don't know. Okay. Let me see here. Dave, Wayne Warrior. Oh, I didn't turn the air compressor off. Great. Great. Give me a second. All right. So, Dave, Barry, I'm wondering, do you enjoy cruising in the cars or mostly working on them? My deal is I don't like trailer queens. I love driving them and working on them. Um, I think my biggest satisfaction is just building the cars. Honestly, it's just building them. Um, I've built cars before, and I told people, I said when I'm done with it, it can just go away. I really don't need it. I don't, um, it might be a little bit different with Jade. I think it'd be fun to cruise around in it. get my wife to go with me. But I mean, I'd rather work on them. Just kind of how I'm geared. And I'm not a fan of the trailer either. Uh, let's see. Mason, I wanted to ask, do you have motion light in front of the shop whenever you're outside, the motion light that kicks on? No, I have a, well, I just have a night sensor. It comes on automatically as soon as it gets dark. Lights up in front of the shop and lights up in front of the house garage, so the whole driveway's lit up nice. Everyone Cheryl says alien. Yeah. It says give me a little Wi-Fi symbol again. I don't get it. Robert she ran out of ribs and she's chewing on the cables. Yeah. Let me tell you, Robert, those are really good ribs. We finally got around to making the ribs that Robert brought me. And I mean, heat them up. That's all we had to do is heat them up. They were awesome. And I'm not kidding. Infidel, what's up, Barry? Glad everything is good. You look like you're not in HD, Granny. Yeah. I don't know what's going on. I don't understand. I should not be having any Wi-Fi issues. I have an Ethernet cable out here. It's plugged in. I'm amazed that it's. I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense. All right. Mason, also, what would you recommend for a light on my grandpa's shop? We have thought about putting a motion light. Well, I've put up some lights on both the garage and the house, and the lights that I'm using, they're LED lights that I got off of Amazon, and I posted videos of those lights, of that light on the shop. I think I posted it. It might be on my workshop channel. So if you went to Jedi's workshop and looked up lights, you'd probably be able to see what I'm talking about. Wait, I have the sizing figured. I have the sizing figured. If 2 would be 24K on the main and 9,000 for the addition, if I go that way on a single 36 or a single 36K, mostly thought about sucking sanding desks that are in the smaller space head. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. So you're talking, it would be 2 would be 24K on the main and 9K for the addition. So you're talking about putting 2 head units in the main shop and a single head unit in the other. I can't say it would. I can't say for sure that would be enough, but that does sound pretty reasonable. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, especially if you're going to have good insulation, fully insulated shop and ceiling. I don't know about your roll-up door or what kind of door you're going to have, but obviously we know that more insulation the better. But that sounds reasonable. That does, Wade. It does to me anyway. And I'm no pro. I'm just telling you from my experience with this one. I've had pretty good luck with it. So I just hope you're using my Amazon link. If you're gonna order, if you're gonna order from Amazon anyway, if you're gonna order from Amazon, make sure you go through one of my links. That'll help a lot. Ray, if you're connected to both, it should be default to your Ethernet as it should be faster. So I would disconnect from your wireless. Yeah, you'd think so, but there's some reason it's kicking up the Wi-Fi if the Ethernet's not working right. Just fix my dryer, then break for the outlet. My TV is starting sizzling, then that kind of weak. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Troy, it's more than likely your provider. I have Comcast, and this happens all the time. Well, I've had pretty good luck with Comcast, Xfinity, but now it seems like it's I don't know. It's kind of messing up. I don't know. The quality is playing in 360p, auto adjusted to that. Okay. Robert, multi-head is the best for the sanding area. Check out Jay-Bates video on building a filter box for his mini splits. There you go. And if you're talking about the filter box, you're talking about the one they put on top. Is that right? Where it takes it in from the top? Because I'm too lazy and I haven't done that. Just saying. But I think it's what we talked about before, was having that thing that was on top. So let me see what we have here. You know, Dave, you talked about being a guest on here. I guess we could pull it off if you want. If you still want to do it, we could probably pull it off. I'll send you an invite link, and we'll see how things turn out. So I sent Dave an invite. Okay, yeah. So Robert, talking about that filter you put on top. So again, I've not done it. I'm lazy, so to speak. Uh, Dave, I don't know if you've ever struggled with fixing radiator fins, but I found a pretty good method to straighten them out and clean them before repainting. Oh, that would be good. I mean, I've done it before, but I've mostly just done it with like little screwdrivers and stuff, you know. And they make a comb for it, I think. I think they make some sort of a comb device for straightening out radiator fins. I think, but I'm not 100% sure. Jessica, you know there may just be water in your input wires for your cable. I don't. I hope not, because I have everything encased in conduit, underground, glued together, conduit up into the house, and then it's all the way into conduit coming into the shop. So I hope not. I hope not. That's a good point. It could be, but I hope not. Wade, I found a video. Thanks. Yep. Yeah. I've had pretty good luck. It seems like a lot of people have been using my Amazon link, to make purchases. So I thank everybody for doing that. That's awesome. Um, every little bit helps. And I have picked up a couple more patrons, which is good. So I know this past over a week now, going a week and a half, or has been kind of just difficult. Trying to stay focused and motivated, and do the things that I need to be doing. So I'm trust me, I'm still making videos. I'm still coming at you with videos, but just a whole kind of different mindset, so to speak, moving forward. And yeah, anyway, so I'm not sure how long I'm actually going to run tonight. I know we've got 60 viewing, and that's great. That's great. But if Dave wants to join and talk about some things, I sent him an invite, and we can go from there. But if anybody wants to join in, let me know. Let's see, Robert. I've been using the Amazon link quite a bit lately. I am also behind in getting stuff filmed. Okay, cool. Well, I'm glad you're using it. So now we have Dave. Looks like he's in a shop. So let's get Dave on here. There you go. You're live.
Okay, so I think I might have a delay going.
Well, you look fine here.
Okay. One of the things that I wanted to talk about is if you're working on your side markers.
Yeah.
Man, is that a delay? Okay, so anyways, I'm gonna ignore my.
Don't worry about what you're seeing, because it's going to be delayed on your end.
Yeah. So anyways, I was redoing the side markers on my 68, and as you can tell, these are a little corroded, and I had to fight like heck to get them out of the sockets.
Yep.
And I'm talking about these side markers. And one of the things about these side markers is if you want to just buy a set that CJ Pony Parts has to replace them, like I don't want to mess with it, I'm just going to buy them. It's like $155 for a pair of them. So I wasn't really all that keen on doing that. So I found something at AutoZone. This is a universal socket replacement, and it happens to have the exact same guts in it. So I've been taking the housing out of the old headlights, and I'm going to repack them with the new contacts, and it was $3.50 for each of them. So, and then I sent you that one thing about a new way to clean the radiators.
Okay.
So just on the drill, this is one of those bristle rotary plastic type deals.
Okay.
And if they're long enough, I've found that you can just be real gentle and it'll actually straighten them out if they're a little bit rough. So I don't know if you can hear my heater. I'm going to turn that off if you want.
Doesn't
matter. Okay. So.
Wait, it's the temperature's down. Aren't you out in like Texas or something?
What's that?
Aren't you like out in the Midwest somewhere?
I do.
I mean, that's where you're at, right? Out in the Midwest somewhere. Is the temperature down?
Yeah. Yep. No, today it actually started out at about 30, and right now it's in the 50s.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay. It's not bad. It's not bad.
You know what? There. That's got to be better. That's got to be better. Can you still hear me, Barry?
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, are you hearing me okay?
Yeah, you know, I should have known better that I should close off the live stream. That's all the back feed.
Okay.
Come on now, Dave. That's just ridiculous.
Well, you were talking about the side marker lights.
Yeah.
And the problem I had with Jade is I had no lights at all. I had nothing. I had the bracket that it holds it to the fender.
Yep.
But I had no lights. I had no chrome, no nothing. I had nothing.
The hole was in the fender, but you didn't have the guts on the outside.
Right, because the guy who had it before me had been working on it. He probably pulled them out and threw them on a shelf or something, and I never got them. I didn't know. So I bought a set because I looked at CJ and I was like, no, I'm not paying that. And so I forget, I showed it. I think I showed it in one of my videos that I found a company that sells them, and they were like, oh gosh, less than $100 for the pair, like $80 or something for the. I mean, it was much more reasonable than CJ Pony, and I forget who it was.
I'll be honest with you though, Barry. $7. I'm okay with $7. So if somebody else wants to try it, I just want to show them. You know, this is the piece that's actually pressed into the housing.
Yeah.
And in order to get it out, I had to take my heat gun and heat up the aluminum. And once you heat it up, you can twist it and pull it out, and then you get the receptacle out.
Okay.
And so now the other thing, I always use Evaporust. I don't know if you've ever tried that stuff, Barry. It's absolutely amazing.
Okay.
So I can take rusty parts. This was rusted. I can put it in there for 24 hours, pull it out, and the rust is gone. So you just rinse it off in the sink, and then I just sand a little bit and paint it, and you're done. So I don't have to get the sandblaster out is the point.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like using the sandblaster.
I don't like doing that.
Yeah. So where do you get Evaporust from?
Here in the Midwest, it's Mills Fleet Farm, Blaine's Farm and Fleet, Menards, Ace. There's a whole bunch of places. I think it was 2000, I don't know, either 2001 or 2005. It was the best new product of the year. And so you can get a 3-gallon pail of it for $40. And it does an amazing job until it gets loaded with too much rust. So it basically dissolves the rust in the liquid, and it's non-toxic. Like when the container's brand new, you can drink it and it won't hurt you. It's got the same chemical base as molasses.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of somebody taking a 55-gallon drum of molasses and dunking a fender in it and let it sit for 3 months?
Yep.
This is the same thing, but on steroids.
Okay.
So it's worth trying because I've done like all my hardware that way, and then I don't have to deal with the sandblaster, which I don't want to.
Right. That's well. What about paint? It doesn't take paint off.
You're getting a little choppy there.
Okay. Yeah. It's showing me my Wi-Fi symbol again. Does it take paint off?
Oh, no, it doesn't take paint off.
Okay.
And one of the reasons restoration people really like it is like if they're going for a concours, which I'm not into the trailer queen thing, but if you're going for concours, you can take all the rust or whatever off and it leaves any of the paint markings or whatever still there. So you can kind of do some sleuthing and figure out what's underneath the patina.
Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Infidel says it sounds like Coca-Cola.
little acid in the Coca-Cola.
Yeah. Crash Rider says he has a radiator fin comb and they work okay, but not the complete answer for repair. So.
Yep. Yeah, I basically started with a really small screwdriver and then tried that plastic rotary cleaner, and it's kind of cool because it got a bunch of it to bare brass, so, without like damaging it.
Yeah.
And so then it was ready to accept paint based on all the scuffing that happened.
Yeah.
So
Where did you find that wheel at?
Harbor Freight.
Okay.
So a couple bucks.
It just attaches to a drill is all it is. It does not like
Yeah, it's just got the standard. Just got the standard shank on the end.
Yeah.
So nothing special. But the fact that these can kind of get in the fins.
Yeah.
Clean.
I can see that.
That's why I decided to try it, and it worked.
Couple bucks. Why not? Yeah.
Share it.
Wade is saying that he's found Evaporust at Walmart and Northern Tool sites.
If you don't have the Evaporust, you need to get the Evaporust, Barry.
Okay. Well, I may have to get some just to try it. I know I've used that 3X chemistry stuff, and it works fantastic. But I'm always looking for something else, that could be used. So that's good to know. Yeah, I'm trying to see if I have. No, okay. So it's good to know. So what else is going on with your car? No, I haven't seen an update in a while. Where you at?
So this weekend, my wife and my youngest are visiting my in-laws. So I'm a bachelor this week. So I spent all weekend going crazy. I made a bracket for my proportioning and metering valve that mounts underneath the master cylinder and the booster.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, Barry?
I made one too.
Yep. So I saw, I can buy one or whatever. And I was kind of like, no, I'm not going to do that. I made one.
Yeah, so. It's probably not much different if you go back and look at when I put disc brake setup on Jade.
Okay.
I made my own bracket for that as well.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
But I just can't. I know it was only like $10 or whatever, but I'm like, no, I can do that. So I'm going to.
Yeah. Well, I think my kit may have come with a bracket, but it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work for what I wanted to do. So
mine came with like one bracket that was, come on camera. It was like for a GM. So it went on the side and held it horizontal, and I needed the undermount. And I mean, the proportioning metering valve is the same, but I needed to mount it in a different place. So
that does sound familiar to me. It's been a while because I had to modify that kit because, as it turns out, my shock tower is probably back a bit, like it was in a wreck, and I never noticed it, and I'd already had everything in place. So when I went to put the brake system in with the booster, the kit that I used, I could not put everything in. Then I covered it in a video. It would not fit, so I had to take the bracket that they provided and shorten it so that I could have clearance for the master cylinder. So I had to be creative on that one, but it worked out.
I also got the hydraulic clutch installed this past weekend. So, and today I just got my Spicer U-joints for my Ford 8-inch.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're aware, but with the Ford 8-inch, it's kind of hit or miss what you're going to get. Mine has 1 1/16 inch diameter cups on two ends, and then 90 degrees from that, they're 1 1/8.
Yep.
But the length is the same both ways, and so you go to the parts store and you're like, oh, this is what I want.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we don't have that. But I'm going to give a shout out to Denny's Drive Shaft. If you're looking for anything drivetrain, Denny's the man. He's got a lot of good stuff and a lot of knowledge. So,
that's one thing I remember about, Fords is some parts will fit here, but they won't fit there. This one will fit that, but not in this year or on that month, or if it's this color,
they had a substitute. They ran out. Who knows what?
Yeah.
They did a change.
Yeah, they just said, well, we're just going to make it this size now. I don't know. But that was what I recall that from our manuals at the junkyard. Every time we needed, somebody said, I need this for this car, flip through the manual and it says, oh, what month was it made? Does it have power steering? Does it have power steering?
Right.
We actually had to ask those questions because it didn't have the holes for the brackets if it didn't have power steering. It's just like, come on, Ford.
It mattered.
Yeah. But then you go to a Chevy and you're like, well, I need a head for a 58 Chevy. And they're like, oh, here, this one from like 1985 will bolt right on, type of thing.
Barry, you mind if I try showing a little bit of the car?
No, not at all. Please do.
All right, we're going to try and do it slowly and carefully. So I'm currently at the point where, can you see it okay, Barry?
Yeah, looks good.
So I spent a lot of time detailing, like even the alternator. I took it apart and reinsulated the alternator. I think I sent you some photos of that earlier.
You might have.
I still have to get the wiring harness in, but my big thing was I needed to get the whole engine and front end in. So I'm just getting ready to put the bumper on.
Okay.
And I'm pretty happy. Let's see where my cord's gonna cooperate. Yeah, I think.
Okay. I'm gonna pull myself off the screen.
Oh, okay.
And so you can just know I'm here, but I can't say anything because I'm pulling myself off because I'm going to give you the full screen.
Oh, okay.
All right. Here.
Yep. All right. So one of the things I wanted to show is all the kill mat that's on the inside, and I'm pretty happy with my tack and my new GT steering wheel, if you can see that. So I've got the dash in and the dash is painted. I've got the carpet in. I've started to do the wiring, but it's a $350 kit, so it doesn't have anything but empty unterminated ends. So there's going to be a ton of work doing all the connections on the ends. But I'm pretty excited because my gut feel is that within the next, I'm going to say 3 to 6 weeks, I think the Wingo Oriole will be on the road. I'm pretty excited about that. It's been 2.5 years to get to this point, and I'm pretty happy about the fact that everything that's on the car has been done by me. So I built the transmission, I built the rear end, did the gears. Well, 50% of the body is new metal. I built a paint shop in my garage, painted it. I had to paint it twice because I had problems with fish eyes and dust. But yeah, everything that's done on the car, that was kind of part of my thing is it's not bought, it's built. So right now, I don't know how far I can go with this, but I'm working on restoring the grill and I'm staging the bumper and a bunch of the other parts. So the amount of parts that are left on the shelf is getting pretty small. So it's getting to the point where the Winged Warrior is almost done.
Cool.
Yeah. Thanks for letting me share, Barry.
What's that?
I said thanks for letting me share, Barry.
Yeah, that's awesome. It reminds me when you're talking about the pile of parts getting smaller. When I rebuilt my grandfather's Model A, I mean it was huge. It was a huge project. Just put it that way. Yeah. And I had, of course, taken that thing down to every last nut, bolt, and screw on that whole car. And I had somebody else rebuild the engine because I can't do Babbitt. I don't know anything about that stuff.
Yep.
Let him do it. He knows what he's doing. He did the transmission for me and the clutch. Didn't take apart the rear end, left it alone. But everything, I mean, I took it all down to the bare frame and worked it back up. Well, I had spent untold amount of money on parts, bolts, screws, nuts. And you would think a Model A doesn't have that many parts. It does. It does. It's not nearly as complex as a model. These cars with heater cores and, all the everything you can think of, all the lights and accessories and all that stuff. But I had bags and bags and bags of pieces and parts on a table. I think I had a piece of 4x8 sheet of plywood and everything laid out and tried to organize it to where this goes here, and I kept anticipating the shrinkage of that pile. I even think I went so far as to get a 4-foot piece of plywood to exchange out just so I would have a smaller space. And that just there's something about that, and I, as you mentioned that, my nose is stuffed up because of the all the pollen in the air. But I have a lot of pieces and parts in here. I've got all the parts from the Brooklyn Pony that are sitting.
Yeah.
And then I have all the all the panels and stuff for the Mustang, and then I have all these boxes sitting around with new parts just waiting to go in, and I can't do any of that until paint, until it's back together. So that's a good moment when you get to that point where you're at now.
Yeah, it feels really good. It's really kind of cool, Barry. I wanted to share that my FedEx guy that comes on the weekends, he's an older gentleman, and he's like, Dave, can I see the Mustang? He's like, so, and was it yesterday? Yeah, Sunday. He was driving by, and he even knows what my car is now. So he's waving at me like, hey, there's Dave, the guy with the Mustang. So that you are getting a lot of parts delivered when the FedEx guy is like, oh, yeah, I know you.
Yeah.
But it's kind of cool to be able to share it, too, because he was telling me stories about, when his cars and all that kind of stuff. And that's one of the things I really like about cars is you meet people that are like-minded, and they're generally pretty good people.
Yeah, generally.
Not always.
Yeah. No, I've run into some that I just don't bother talking to anymore. Yep.
That's okay. They don't count.
Yeah. Let's see. I have a comment-ish. Okay. He's seen Vaporos on restoration channels and works great. Look into it. They may even sponsor you. Yeah, maybe.
That stuff is awesome, Barry. I just can't tell you enough about it.
64 and a half Stang. Note to self, do not use pressure washer to clean radiators or condensers. Yeah. At least not, you can be at a distance, but you can't be right on them.
Oh, man.
Nandu checking in. Let's see. Troy Justit, he's gone. He left. So Ray, I want to say Ganaya. I can't remember. Gonna head to dinner at night. All glad you're here. And Rick is saying, Dave, nice job. Must be rewarding to look at. Must be rewarding to look at, knowing you did it all. Yes. Yep.
That was kind of my goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I used to work at the Mustang Restoration Company back in the 90s.
Okay.
And we restored 64 and a half through 73 Mustangs, Shelbys, and Cobras. And everything that we did was concours. And I mean, everything had to be perfect. So we made a lot of trailer queens. And I just don't have that desire. I mean, this was originally a 6-cylinder car.
Yeah.
And now it's just my T5 5-speed modified. It's not a what's the right word? Resto mod. It's a resto mod.
I was going to say that, but I wasn't sure if that's what you wanted. So
that's okay.
But yeah, I mean, and I'm okay with that. Honestly, I can appreciate, and I don't want to use this wrong way, an original car, as in original car, not one it's been remade to look original. I don't get as much out of that. But if somebody has an original car that's never been modified or cut or has all the marks on it,
we used to always say unmolested.
Unmolested, and it's in great shape and everything, because they're all, a rust pit is unmolested. But I'm talking about a really nice car, that means something to me more than one that somebody has taken all apart. And I mean, I appreciate it, I do, but it's not me. It's just not. I'm just not that interested. So.
Well, that gets back to your recent purchase about trying to decide whether or not to make that into a fastback. You don't really have to worry about what you're tearing into if you decide to do it.
Right.
But it's still a heck of a lot of work to do it. I think you remember I've been helping Fastback Mike with his 67 coupe to fastback conversion.
Right.
A lot of work. A lot of work.
Yeah, but it's the kind of work that I enjoy.
Well, that's true. You've expressed that multiple times. That's where your wheelhouse is.
It is. I mean, give me a pile of metal and a welder and let me go.
Well, and after seeing everything that you did on Brooklyn Pony, starting from what you started with, you don't have anything to worry about.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. I mean, I'll have to do some my own little things, but
if you do decide to do it, just a heads up, between like the top of the front windshield and the back of the roof where it meets the side sections that you get, we had a little bit of issue with the transitions, like dimensionally. You get like this welded side assembly for each side. Doesn't mean everything's perfect is the point. That's all I'm trying to say, Barry. And you already know that.
Yeah, well, the thing is, even the ones you buy, the built bodies you buy, they're screwed up in that same spot.
The full assembled cars? Really?
I looked at one right up the street. A body shop guy that I know, they bought a 67. Pretty sure 60, well, whatever, 67 or 8, doesn't matter. Same thing. Where the roof line met the quarter, they had to cut it, they had to take it apart. They had to I mean, it was all messed up.
Huh.
So
okay. Well, that's interesting to know, because I've never seen the full body. I've only helped Fastback Mike with his.
Yeah, I think that's a problem they have from the factory. So I don't know for sure, but let's see. Don Thompson says yes. Oh, yes, it is a good feeling talking about getting through your car. It says traveling through life in a device of your own contrivance. Ooh.
That's a pretty big word. That's a really big word.
Yeah. So
I like it. Thanks, Don.
He can appreciate what you're doing because he's had his car forever and done a lot of stuff to it. So, Doug Pinzer, good evening from upstate New York. Glad to hear you're well. Looking for where I can find measurements for 6.6 fastback rear seat brackets, doing a conversion and seeing if anyone knows where I can find that. So I don't have an answer for that. Hopefully somebody does, but I don't. Robert, when the pile of parts starts to disappear, you start looking at your next project.
Oh boy, I actually started looking, Barry.
Well, you see what I did. I don't even
Yeah,
have. I'm not even ready for the next project, but I couldn't pass up the car.
I want to do an old Bronco,
So do I.
but so I've got a spare 289. I've got the 3-speed top loader from my car before I put the T5 in it. I've
Yeah.
got another rear end. So I've got a drivetrain, and I was actually thinking about just designing and building a frame from scratch myself. Why even mess around with a used frame?
Well, the thing is, those frames are like tanks. They're heavy.
The original ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're
Build
saying
one.
keep
Build.
it or don't keep it?
I don't build your own out of tubing.
Okay, because that was the plan.
Yeah.
But so then I started looking at how much people want for these things because now, they came out with the new Bronco and that made it even worse. I don't know if
Yeah.
that made it worse or if they were already popular, but it's ridiculous what they want for them.
Well, the price has been going up over the years, regardless. I have friends who ask me all the time, if you find a Bronco in the area, let me know. They want to buy them because their price is going sky high.
I found an international.
Right. Which I like better.
Yeah.
I do.
Well, I'm okay with either. So I'm okay with Jeep, International, or Bronco
Yeah.
because I'm gonna make it the way I want it. And I'm 6'4", so for me a CJ5 is too small. I need a CJ7.
Right.
So my other thought is if I build my own frame, I can get exactly what I need for legroom and headroom and whatever. I don't know that I have a big problem just trying to make my own body, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at like the stock car racing,
Yeah.
the old dirt circle tracks and everything,
Yeah.
there's just a skin over a tubular frame.
Yeah.
Who says I can't do that and be just as good?
Yeah. Depends on what you want to do with it.
Just
Like,
have fun with it.
yeah. I mean, if you're going to make it street legal, you have to have some sort of numbers on it to make it street legal.
Oh,
Uh,
yep, of course. Yep.
but if you want to have windows or if you want to have any kind of conveniences, that might be a challenge. Uh,
Don't need those.
yeah. Well, it gets cold where you're at.
It does. It does.
So, but that's, I mean, I want to do a Bronco. I don't want to build the whole thing. I just want to build a new body.
You
I
want
just want
to
to buy
put
all the
the
pieces.
body together?
Yeah, that's all I want to do.
It was like 10 grand for some of the Bronco kits that I saw where you could just get a turnkey body.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can
Well, yeah,
come up with
but
something.
that's somebody else building it. I
Right.
want to buy the pieces and I want to put it together.
I think we buy 2 sets of pieces and we put them together.
And the only thing I need is a frame jig.
I don't know anybody who can do that for you.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Yeah.
But if I had a frame jig, boom, you start dropping in pieces and put it together.
If you want me to design it, this engineer will do it for you.
You never know. You never know. Let me see who else is here. Dave Britton checking in. Glad you're here, Dave. That's Dave number 3 or 4 tonight, I think.
The good guys are here. That's all I
Yeah.
know.
Dan, Trailer Queen, like drawing your fingernails across the chalkboard. Make these two words when used together. Ooh, Hearst Scrambler. He's got a 79 Spirit AMX all original 13,000 miles. That's interesting. That's interesting. Let's see.
Oh, yeah, he's right.
After your bank account catches up from the first project, yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Bob Shoemaker says he's late, but here. Glad you're here. Brian Bergman checking in. Good evening. Papa Joe's Garage, greeting from St. Augustine, Florida. And Clark, contrivance is the word of the day. Yes. Yes, we did announce that. So this week, everybody has to use contrivance in a sentence and then come back and let us know how you used it in a sentence in your everyday life.
That's a good assignment.
No nonsense, know how. Good evening, guys. Glad you're here. Dave Britton. Bronco these days are the same price as a 68 fastback. Yep. Dan Shader, Bronco, good luck. Check out Icon's YouTube page and you know why prices are soaring. Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah, they're building like, I don't know, $150,000 Broncos or something.
Get it.
Ricky Lynn checking in. Glad you're here. Dave Britton, Scout prices have really started to follow the Bronco prices too, really on the rise. That is true. Rick, Jeep is an awesome platform to build on. At 6'4", consider an LJ.
LJ.
I don't know what the LJ is, but maybe so. And Rick Gaines, Stacy David built a 6'6" half cab Bronco. Crazy Horse was an awesome build. Yeah, he does some good work. I'll say that.
Thanks, Rick.
But yeah, I've thought before about just building, Bronco bodies and here, come get it. Here's your Bronco. Put your glove box on, and suddenly you have a new Bronco.
Well, there seems to be enough demand for it, Barry.
Oh yeah, I mean definitely. Dynacorn is making bodies. I think that United Pacific, I think they're making bodies in some way. Because I know when I was at SEMA last year, they had a display with pieces and parts of a Bronco.
Okay.
So now whether they're going around through Dynacorn, I don't know. And I don't know who's actually producing it, but
yeah, you don't know how many licensing agreements are going on.
Right. Bob Shoemaker. My contrivance right now is that the wife lost a utility bill. I don't think that's the proper use of the word, Bob. I don't think that's I don't think that's how that works.
Strike one.
Ricky Lynn, I guess my son has a 85 all original Bronco. That would, the 85, that's going to be the little one, right?
Yeah, that's like the Bronco 2, right?
Yeah, I think it's a Bronco 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then Roger checking in from next door. Glad you're here. Speaking of the Broncos, the new Broncos, you see the commercials and blah, 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 and you're like, okay, the commercials look cool and it has all these little settings where you can change your suspension or whatever. I was behind one the other day. First one I've actually seen in person. I can tell you that all I saw was, I don't know, it felt like it was something between an Escape and an Explorer.
Oh, or a Flex?
Yeah, all three kind of, but that's what I saw when I came up behind it. I was like,
that's not what a Bronco is supposed to look like.
That's not, oh, never mind. I
do want to try driving one or riding in one or see what it's like. I mean, that's kind of what us auto enthusiasts do,
Yeah, but it's almost, now that I see it in person, and again, I'm caught between the Escape and Explorer type of, Explorer is probably the right size, right? Explorer, yeah, the Expedition was the bigger one. So Explorer, I'm almost like they took the next generation of Explorer body and put a Bronco grill in it. That's the way I felt about it. It was just like,
one of the things that I looked at with the Jeep is a lot of the metal that's on the body for the Jeep is straight. You make a few curves in the back and here and there, and it's not that hard to build a body.
No, so, not a Jeep body. No,
not at all. I wish I could remember the other company, but there's a company that was making like really simplistic vehicles. They're like very basic. I wish I could remember. This is a long time ago, but everything on the car was like flat, and it's very utilitarian. And there's something to be said for.
Sounds like a Citroen.
I'm gonna have to figure out what that was, but.
Was it like a production vehicle?
It was a museum in the U.S. that actually specialized in foreign vehicles. Okay. There aren't that many of them that do that. I just stumbled on the website last week. Anyways.
Okay, so Ricky Lynn was saying that he has 85. He has the big Bronco.
Okay, so big one.
I got you. Okay, that makes sense.
I'll fit in that one.
Yeah. Fast and Furious, they built a '69 Charger on a Crown Vic chassis. they use to jump them for events. I've seen that where because they don't have any chargers to sacrifice, so they started using Crown Vics and putting a sheet metal on just to make it look right. Rick Gain, the LJ is a longer version of the TJ, built from 96 to 06, last of the real Jeeps. So that kind of answers that question. 64.5 Stang contrivance to create from skill.
Oh, would you like to see my contrivance behind me?
Yeah, I guess that's. I haven't looked up the word, but I'm guessing that's a correct definition. I'm assuming.
There's my sentence. I just made it up. I'm done.
Okay. Thunder Dan, it's a millennial Bronco.
Okay. No. Fair enough.
Dave Rittenberry, Dave, did you like the look of the Flex? I rented one and it really grew on me. Have liked them ever since. I actually looked at buying one, used one several years ago, until I realized it had like a slush box automatic transmission where it had like 8 speeds or something. It was some crazy transmission they had in them. And I started researching it and said, these have this sort of problem with this transmission. The one I looked at had over 100,000 miles on it. I was like, I don't know if I want to deal with that. So I kind of passed.
So the one thing I'll say is they actually had kind of a unique looking body.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many cars that look like nothing, or they're a remake of something that was cool in the past. My whole thought is the Flex actually has its own look, and it's got some crispness to it. I like it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like the shape of it. I like the way it felt, but I was uncomfortable with that transmission. It said it was like a what's constant velocity? It was like a CV.
Like they put in some of the Jeeps?
Could be. I don't know, but I was
Those are horrible.
Yeah, I'm not. I said this scares me. I'm not too interested in it. Sammy, Lisa, good night, friends. Work's got me on 12 hours. Stay safe, people. Glad you were here. Rick, the Bronco Sport is built on the Escape chassis, while the Bronco will be built on the Ranger chassis. The Bronco has not been released yet. Okay.
Wow, two different chassis for the same brand name. Interesting.
Maybe that's what I saw then was the Bronco Sport, because I was not impressed. I'll just say it. I was not impressed. Now, I would like to see the other one, if that's the case. They're going to cash in on the Bronco name. They're going to try to, here's the Bronco Mustang. You know, I mean, they'll just try to come
up with Bronco Mustang. Yeah.
Well, you know, they put the Bronco SUV a Mustang SUV thing, whatever.
Oh, that hatchback.
Yeah.
Crossover looking thing.
Yeah.
Yep. Just because you put a Mustang emblem on it doesn't make it a Mustang.
No. Ricky Lynn says red interior is beautiful. Okay. Jessica 85. There were full size Bronco, F250 base Bronco, and the Ranger base Bronco too. Is that an F250 base Bronco? I'd never heard of that.
A big and a little, both in 85.
Well, I knew they had the Bronco too, but I didn't realize F250 was involved. That's a heavy duty. I mean, I knew the base on the F-150 type of setup for the big Bronco, but.
Well, and it had the articulating suspension and everything on the big Bronco too. You could do some serious off-roading with that.
Yeah, you can. Clark Clifford says new name for the Red Dave, contrivance.
I think Clifford might have it.
Yeah. Rick, we tore apart a 73 Bronco for parts about 15 years ago. The 9-inch rear end almost went into my Mustang. Regret tearing it apart now. Yep. Ricky Lynn, Barry Bronco Mustang. Hey, Ford wants to sell you a vehicle. This is our new Bronco Mustang GT, Celine edition, with the Roush package. All the things they could throw at it to make it sound more appealing.
You're gonna love it.
64 is saying Rick Stevenson Escape chassis. I wonder if the frame rail is going to rust out back by the wheel arch. Yeah, it probably will. It probably will. Because I mean, they're just, and I hope it's a good vehicle. I really do. The bigger
Me
version,
too.
or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not going to buy one. I can tell you that.
I don't know if you're going to be able to turn it into a rock crawler or not.
Oh, sure. It has a little knob on the dash. You just turn it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you just turn it. There's like 9 settings, I think, that you can, it'll jump and all kinds of stuff.
One of them is for a car wash myself, and all this other stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can have the lowrider Bronco. You can pull up to the drive-through and say, "Oh, I'm a little high. I can't reach the window." You hit it, and, lower you down, stuff like that. Because it'll be driven in the city. You're not going to take it off road.
Nope, that would be dangerous.
Yeah. Clark says, "I thought the new Maverick was the truck." The new Maverick? You lost me there. New Maverick was the truck. Okay. I'm not sure on that one. Rick, 61 Mustang. Only time will tell. Yeah, talking about the
I agree.
rust. Yeah.
Time will tell.
So, anyway. So you think you got another, what, you said 3-4 weeks on the car?
I'm going to say 3 to 7. And the only reason that I say that, Barry, is because of the wiring harness.
Yeah.
So it ends up, the advertising for the harness said, "Oh, this is going to work great for your Mustang." Well, it also works great for every other car ever made, apparently. So it's a universal harness. And I've spent a lot of time trying to figure out what all the circuits are on my car. And then you have to figure out what all the circuits are on the harness you bought. And then I bought a bunch of weatherproof connectors and non-weatherproof connectors, and I've got to convert all the circuits to make everything work. So I'm basically taking the standard harness and making it into something that'll work for mine.
Okay.
So that's a lot of work.
Yeah. Okay, so Ricky Lynn's checking out. Her husband has his port put in the morning for chemo. I hope that all goes well. Glad you're here, Ricky. Now, what was the brand of the harness you bought?
Quickwire.
Quickwire.
Yep.
Don't know if I've heard of them. Because I bought a kit for my dune buggy from Rebel Wire.
Okay.
And I don't know if they were specific to dune buggies or if they sell different ones, but I don't think they make one unique to a Mustang or a Camaro. I think it's more of a universal type of thing.
Well, the manual for this one has Ford, GM, Chrysler. You just kind of turn to the page for here's the general ignition system, here's the headlight system based on the brand. So it's kind of generic.
Okay. So it just gives you the basics.
Yep.
Now, what prompted you to do that rather than buy a painless system, or just the cost or the challenge?
Yeah, I'm a little frugal. Others might call it cheap, but yeah, it was only like 300 some bucks for this kit. If you go to some of the other ones, you can get upwards of $1,000, like plug and play. I don't want to put that kind of money in it. I'd rather just put the time in, like I've done with everything else, and say I did this myself.
Okay, I get it.
Yep.
Let's see. So Dave is saying, Dave Conville, Maverick is the upcoming compact pickup from Ford. I guess they didn't want to use Ranger. Well, they have the Ranger out.
I see commercials for it now.
Yeah, they have the new Ranger, but I have not seen anything with Maverick. I might have to look that up just to see. 64 says, I think Clark meant Mustang. They are making Stang trucks for some odd reason. Stang trucks? I was joking earlier.
That's a new one for me.
They might be. Dave, Britain. I was just on Ford Build and Price, and a Bronco and Bronco Sport are very different looking. Talk about making things confusing for names. Well,
hey, Barry, can I get a bell for another Dave?
Thank you.
You're welcome, Dave.
I don't know how many Daves we have right now, but It's a little tipping a little bit
Just
heavy.
taking care of my days.
Good. Now, as I was saying before, here they have the Bronco and Bronco Sport. They're going to have the who knows what next. How many variations are they going to use a Bronco name on? To me, it should be just dedicated to the Bronco, not here's the Escape version Bronco. Here's this version of Bronco. I don't like that. Jessica says Maverick will be a small unibody front-wheel drive truck. Think a rounded Dodge Rampage. So like a Subaru Brat Rampage type thing?
Like a SUV at that point.
Yeah, sort of. Because, Ford doesn't want to make cars anymore.
Yeah, I know. They probably will change their mind if things don't go
well. They've done it before.
If they're going to go electric at some point, they're going to have to make cars because it's going to be too heavy to try and push around bigger stuff.
Good point. Let's see. Robert says, don't forget Ford wired their dome lights backwards. They were hot all the time and the switch grounded it. Common cause of drained batteries and fires. Well, you can correct that, right? Can't you like rewire it so that it's...
You can make it a 2-wire.
Okay.
So one way to do it is just to have 2 wires going to the dome light instead of one and having it grounded to the roof.
Yeah, there you go.
But it's also if the switches stay on. But you can change the polarity of it as well.
Yeah. Well, it's like the Model A's were positive ground,
Yep. There was only 8 wires in my 30 Model A, Barry. How many are in yours?
Well, counting maybe 8, but I also added turn signals. So I added LED turn signals that are not permanent.
I should send you some pictures of some of the accessories I have for Model A's. I've got these really cool little ashtray holders that hang in your window, and then fan accessory, and then what were those wolf whistles? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I've got a bunch of those and a bunch of other stuff that came with the car. I kept all the cool little trinket stuff.
Yeah, cool.
Are you interested in any of it or no?
I mean, I'd like to see what you have.
I'll take some pictures and send them over.
Yeah, I would like to see it at least. Welder 4956, good evening all, glad you're here. Robert, the universal harness all use GM fuse blocks. Pick the one you like and go for it in standard GM wiring colors. Ford used whatever color wire was on sale that day.
It even says that. It even says that in the manuals.
I believe it.
It's like, well, the colors are this unless we had a substitute.
Well, when I wired up my dune buggy, now, mind you, I started with a rusted up chassis. Okay. So I had a fiberglass dune buggy on I want to say a 69 chassis. Now, to put that in perspective, somehow, somebody had to cut that harness to make it work for the dune buggy. Because you can't use the regular harness for the car with the dune buggy, because what I've learned is you almost have to like unpin everything to get the wiring out of the Volkswagen.
To get the lead.
Well, because what they did is they fed them through the car and then they connected everything. You can't pull that. You can't pull that back out. You have to either cut it or depin everything and get it back out.
Okay.
So when I was working on the dune buggy, I was using the 69 harness until I bought a 68 chassis and I pulled the body off of that car and shortened the chassis 14 inches. And I used the harness from the 68. Well, then I found out, talking about wrong colors, Volkswagen changed the color of their wiring harness every year. It seemed every year. So one year the headlights are blue, then they're yellow, then they're green, then they're red, then, so I had to figure out.
Why would you do that?
Why? Exactly. So I now had my fiberglass dune buggy with half a harness from a 69, the chassis with half a harness from a 68, and I'm trying to figure out what goes where. I'm lucky I ever got it running.
You're never going to have any problems with that. It'll just go right together.
Well, I contacted Rebel Wire and I said, send me this harness. I took their instructions were perfect. I pulled everything out.
How much was that harness, Barry?
I want to say it was only like, I don't know if it was $200.
Oh, that's nothing.
It was nothing, but it's a very simple harness too. But it was all wired. Everything was tagged. This goes to the alternator. This goes to the coil.
Did it have connectors on the ends of the wires, or were they tag end wires?
They were just tagged, and then the length, the length was like 50 feet.
Extra,
whatever.
Extra.
So I could put it however I wanted, and then cut it down and put it together.
So what'd you do to get the terminals and the connectors that you needed? Did you buy those separately, or reuse the ones off the old harnesses, or what'd you do?
I think it came with all the connectors. Like
for $200.
I can't remember the exact price, but I know it was not that expensive.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but Rebel Wire was the company. In fact, I shot a video. I was so disappointed. I shot a video of that whole process. I took it all out. I shot everything, and then when I went to edit it, it was gone. Everything it was gone, and I was like, "You've got to be kidding me!" Because it took me hours to get it right. To put it all in and to get it all out and running. Gone. So that was one of my disappointments. I did that. That video was very similar. Well, it was when my son was getting married, and I put in a new gas tank, which I filmed that. That was fine. And then my wiring video had it was all chopped up and screwed up, and it was just not even worth editing. So anyway, but look up. I mean, you may want to look up Rebel Wire just to see. Let's see, Clark Clifford 2022 Maverick pickup. Ugh, that just doesn't even sound appealing. Welder, I went with a 21 circuit harness from Easy Wiring for my 60 Fairlane. I haven't put it in yet, but it looks well made. Okay.
Good luck.
Lucky Luciano. I don't know if that's not Guido, is it? I don't think so. I don't remember. Looks familiar though. Name looks familiar. Glad you're here anyway. Robert, could be all white wire like airplanes. That could be.
Is that really how it is, Barry?
Yeah.
Everything's white.
That I remember. Yeah.
Why?
There may have been some sort of hyphenated color pattern on there. But yeah, all the wiring in an airplane, it's all. I remember it's all white. I never did any wiring on an airplane, thankfully, but I had to learn how to tie it up because you're supposed to use a special twine.
Okay.
No zip ties. No. You had to use a special piece of kind of like a heavy string, and you had to tie it a certain way and lock it in. So you had to learn how to do that. I've forgotten that. I haven't done it since A&P school, but I remember the specifics of it because you can't have anything move, and you can't have so much pressure, and
there's a lot of artistic license working on the cars that we're working on now. You convert that over to working on an airplane, and regulations are up the wazoo.
Oh, I know.
I have a coworker that well, I know you know Barry, but I have a coworker that bought an experimental, and it's got the Corvair engine in it, and he wanted to add a air fuel ratio sensor to it. And so he's going to buy the bung, and we need to TIG weld it to the exhaust header. And it's got to be, I mean, it gets into all kinds of details. Like I gave him the name of some welders that I know locally that could do the TIG welding. And he made the mistake of mentioning the word airplane, and they're like, whoa, no, I'm not touching that. Yep. So it's like a whole nother ballgame.
Yeah. Well, in fact, in thinking of that, I've only done like one annual on a regular plane, like a small type of, it was a stunt plane actually, because you have to have an annual inspection. So I've only ever done one of those. But we had a friend who. Have you ever seen the movie the movie with Hilary Swank, Amelia? It was about
I,
$1 million. Anyway, in that plane they use a Lockheed. I think it's supposed to be a 12A airplane. So it's what she flew. And there's like that plane doesn't exist anymore for the most part. I think there's like something close to it. Anyway, our friend he has one. He bought it. I think he bought it out in Texas, and he ferried it to Georgia.
hmm.
Had to work on it for like weeks just to get it running enough to where he could fly it to Georgia. And then he spent, oh gosh, 12 years
Oh my.
putting it back together. The
Yep.
plane was used for parachuting. They had a giant hole in the side of the plane with no door at all, and that was how they, use it. He
Yep.
had to rebuild all of that. So you talk about specs. He had to get like spar and ribs made and all kinds of stuff to match exactly how that plane was built. In like,
It's got to be the right material. It's got to be
yeah,
the exact dimensions, and
yep.
it's got to be. I mean, a big deal is oxidation or lack thereof in airplanes.
It
There's
was
so
it
much
was
stuff.
it was crazy, and he still has the plane. He's taken it to, I think there's a big air Oshkosh, the big
Oh
air
yeah.
show.
Yep.
He's won best plane. I mean, it's just crazy. He's some of the awards he's won. But the thing is, that plane, he finished it. We striped it for him, okay, with the Lockheed Lightning Bolt because it has the lightning bolt pattern. So we did that on the side. We painted the underside of the wings. We painted the nacelles. Um, we did all that work, and he was taking it, taking it to shows and stuff like that. And a movie company called him up and said, "Hey, we want to use your plane in this movie."
Nice.
And they said, "But it can't have the stripe on it."
Uh-oh.
So he asked us to depaint the stripe, which we did. It was
How,
terrible.
how did you do that, Barry?
We used stripper. We used chemical strip.
Chemicals.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we stripped that paint, the stripe back off of that plane, and they shot the movie in it. In fact, he flew the plane for the movie. So if you ever see the movie Amelia
Okay.
with Hilary Swank, um, that you'll see in certain shots the sun hitting the where the paint was, and you can
And
still see where the lightning bolt was.
and you can see it for sure because
Yeah,
you.
I know where it's at. Okay, so here it is. Roger's chiming in. Amelia flew a Model 10 Electra. The movie plane was a 12. So there you go. I knew there was some correlation there with the 12, but um, anyway, he flew the plane, and I know they had a scene where he had to like fly real low over a camera, stuff like that. Um, but then after the movie, he brought it back home, of course, and he said, "Hey, I want that stripe back on the plane." So we restriped it for him, and then the movie company called him back,
Oh no.
and they said, "Hey, we want to take that plane on tour to promote the movie. Can you take the stripe back off?" He asked us if we would do it again. We said, "No, we're not doing it."
It was that much of a pain.
Well, I think honestly, for us to unstripe it and then restripe it, we charged them like $5,000. It
And you
was
didn't.
because you had to mask the whole plane.
Sure. Well, I mean, you should be charging the movie
The rest
company
of
for that stuff.
the rest of the plane is polished, so you have to
Polished
mask it.
aluminum.
Yeah, you have to mask the entire plane
Yeah.
to paint it. I mean, it was crazy, but he said no, I'm not going to do that, and they said, okay, we'll bring it anyway.
Oh,
So
there you go.
I think they still use it I think they still use it for the promos, but anyway, just kind of one of those weird trivia things that uh, I've had a hand on.
Very cool.
Um, okay, where are we at here? Rick Stevenson talking about on the wiring for the planes is you just have to look for the little bitty numbers on there. So lucky, yeah, Guido. See, I know it's Guido. 64, I'm switching from generator to alternator on 64, 65 Stang. What do you have to change on the horn circuit. Oh, I don't know. Wait a minute. On the horn circuit. Wait a minute. I know there's something, obviously, because the generator uses a cutoff switch.
But the polarity is not necessarily different on the car before and after generator.
Yeah.
It is?
Well, no, I'm saying I don't know. I don't know what the difference is.
I don't think the polarity is any different, but I could be wrong.
Well, it says, what do you have to change on the horn circuit? So, gosh, there's something tingling back here, but I don't know that I can pull it up. So if anybody has an answer for that, unless it's a trivia question, he knows that we don't know, and he's going to give us the answer. Clark, military vehicles, white wire with number codes that are different on the ends. So if you have to disable destroy it, it can't be put together by the enemy.
Oh.
Okay, well that makes sense. Makes sense. That would really be ugly though. Try to put back together. March Indy, on aircraft, yes, the wires are white, but they're all numbered in numerous places. So I never did any wiring on planes, thankfully. Randall, unfortunately, my 67 Cougar has hit a snag. I drew an Alaskan moose permit.
Congratulations.
Prince of Wales Island black bear tag.
Ooh.
And just won a guided elk hunt here in Utah this fall. Well, you poor guy.
Randall, I can help you with all of that.
I mean, I might even get involved if I need to. I don't want to do the black bear thing, but
let me know. I can help you out, Randall.
Yeah, I mean, if you're really suffering and you can't make it through,
we're here for you.
Yeah, you got to have your priorities though. You know, you should work on a Cougar, but that would be terrible. You have to win all that.
Oh my gosh! Congratulations.
Robert says, great looking plane, talking about the Amelia, I guess the plane from the movie. Arthur sent the fin product on a wife's car using PPG.
Email of the finished product?
Finished product. Okay. He says send it to me on Facebook. Okay. I'll have to take a look at that later. Ish says, yes, your tingling could be spider sense. Yeah, or it could be where I crashed my go-kart. And knocked my hand. It could be that. There's a very good likelihood that could be it.
When was the last time you drove that?
The last time I wrecked it.
Fair enough. Just asking. I didn't mean to poke the bear.
No. I actually, I had fixed the carburetor on it, and of course I've been riding it around while I left it sit after my incident, and now I go to start it, and it's pumping gas out of a port on the side of the carburetor. So I'm like,
uh-oh.
Okay, that's what happens when you don't keep running things. So
do you put non-ethanol in stuff like that, Barry?
Yeah, I know. Don't do that.
You do or you don't?
I do.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yep. But I know better. Yep. But probably what's going to happen, I think, is I will fix it and then I may just resell it before I really hurt somebody with it.
You need a faster one.
Yeah, I'll just stick to driving around Mustangs. I had John. He sent me a picture of the Dodge Ram Charger just so we have a point of reference.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, Ram Charger / Subaru Brat looking thing. And if that's what they're making is a Maverick, gosh, I can't wait to get to the showroom and buy one.
I'll be right behind you.
Yeah. Get through the crowds. Now, let's see. Skylar, working on my 68 Cougar XR7 front and rear suspension. Your videos have been great. Cool. I'm glad to help. Euclid Fanatic. I hate bugs because they cause speed and adrenaline. Okay. And Robert, there was still a dent in the ground where Barry hit his head on his crash. Yeah. Well, I may have bent the frame rail, on the roll cage. I should have shared this earlier. I was talking about the motorcycle, that's going to get some work done to it. And I forgot to share this picture. Let me pull Robert off real quick. And I'll just share this since we're getting close to the end. I need to get in the house.
Yeah. Have a good night.
This,
Thanks for having me on.
well, I'm glad you can hang out if you want.
Oh, I thought you just said you were pulling me off. Never mind.
Oh, I can. What I
Doesn't
want to do is
matter.
I want to show you the bike. This
Yeah,
is
do
what
it.
the bike
Do
is
it. Quit
supposed to look like.
talking.
That's the plan.
Oh, that's pretty.
That's the plan for the bike.
Does
So
that have that rib on it too on the tank?
yeah, it does, but the
You
one
don't.
I'm
It doesn't seem real pronounced.
it's not. And the one I'm building is not going to have that.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to affect it that much. But one thing I have to deal with, and I've been looking at it closely, is the seat. Okay,
There's
and the way
3D.
the way it's shaped, it
Yeah.
kind of bulges out over. Well, it comes up over the back of the tank a bit, and then it bulges out over the two side covers where like the air intake would be.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to revisit that with how I want to do my design because
You're gonna make the seat, Barry?
I'll make the seat pan
Okay.
out of fiberglass.
Yep.
I'm not gonna cover it. The seat. I'm making a video on this, but the guy who worked on it before me made a seat pan out of steel.
Comfortable.
Well, it would get covered,
Oh.
but it's not going to be effective for that kind of seat because the one he built doesn't come up over the back. The gas tank has a flange on the back of it. Okay, where it bolts
Okay.
to the frame. So I know it's kind of like
You can't do the rest in foam and stuffing and structure.
it's not what the owner wants.
Well, then
He wants
that's not the right thing to do.
He wants fiberglass.
Yep.
So
Customer is always right.
fiberglass it is. That'll be what it ends up with. But I'm probably going to try to get something on that this week because ideally, what I want to do is get the tank in primer, and I'm going to be spraying the whole car in primer. So I'm almost thinking if I do all this kind of together, I can get it all knocked out at the same time. Hopefully.
Okay. You got what? One last coat of high build on Jade, or are you getting close to sealer?
No, well, I may be high build / sealer.
Okay.
I may do a thin coat of high build, but I'm gonna have to spray it and see how it looks. If I'm happy with it and I don't see any bleed through and color change, I may just run with it. But at this point, I know there's some areas that are going to need a little more than others because my block sanding revealed, some pitting and stuff like that, which I think I got most of it out, but I still need to put in enough high build that's going to take care of that. For some reason, I'm kind of anal on how I like things to look.
No, not you.
So it's going to, this will probably be, in my opinion, I mean, of course, I haven't painted a lot of things. My buddy did all the paint work at the body shop. I helped and I, supervised.
You learn along the way, though.
Right. But Jade is probably going to be, well, I know it'll be the best paint job I've ever done. That much I know. But
Cool.
I don't have a lot on my list. But I want it to be as perfect as I can get it. And so if it means another round of high build and blocking it and getting it exactly how I want it, then that's what I'm going to do.
Yep. It's just about patience.
Yeah. Let's see here. We've got a few others popping in. Arthur says, guys, the Bronco was the worst failure in Ford's history of bringing back vehicles. They're sideways engine, 4-cylinder front-wheel drive with the option 4-wheel drive to the rear. So you're talking about the current?
I think the relaunch is what Arthur's talking about, but I could be wrong.
And the Bronco 2.
Bringing back.
Yeah. They're sideways engine, 4-cylinder front-wheel drive with the option 4-wheel drive to the rear. So it's going to be a front-wheel drive. Okay. If that's his case, then I'm not a fan. Euclid. Every time I repurpose stuff, I think of Tim Allen and Richard Karn from Assembly Required. I'll tell you what, honestly, I applied to that show. I'm going to see. I haven't heard anything, but I applied, and we'll see what happens. I would love to do it, but we'll see.
Well, just the fact that Euclid is repurposing stuff is pretty awesome.
Oh,
I mean,
sure.
that's a check on this side for him.
Yeah, exactly. That's a bell.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. All right. So Shane's out. He's gone. Skyler. On my 68 Cougar, I bought the eccentric bolt eliminator kit for lower control arms. Have you ever used these?
That's crazy because I was just looking at that today for mine and I found the plans for the actual dimensions for it. I'm making my own. Not hard
Okay.
to do. Hard to do. It's a
I have
half
not
inch.
used. I mean, I don't know about it on the Cougar, but I mean, there's an eccentric bolt in my 68 Mustang.
Yep. On the
So
lower control arms.
yeah, the lower control arm.
Yep.
So I didn't.
Yeah. So
You look
they're
at
square.
eliminating it. He's eliminating it though.
Right. Yeah, I know I'm talking about the same thing. It's a square 1.7 something inch by 1.7 something inch. I think it's 1.763 inches square by just under a quarter inch thick, and there's 3 holes drilled in the middle. So instead of being a circle with an eccentric hole in it that you can twist to get your in and out,
Right.
it lets you put it in different combinations.
Okay.
So once it's there, it's fixed, because otherwise if you go over a big pothole or tag a curb or whatever, the eccentric will slip on you. Whereas if you use the eccentric eliminator, once it's there, it's done, it's set, it's not moving.
I get it.
So, but they're $77 on CJ's. I'm gonna make a set for probably like $10.
Yeah, I get it. That makes sense now. Euclid, best project was a rare Alice Chalmers 3-wheeled golf cart. That does sound like it. I didn't know Alice Chalmers made golf carts. Don Thompson, good night, Barry and Dave. My contrivance needs attention. Dave Britton, Barry, you planning any trips in Jade when it's done? I would love to. I've thought about that.
You need to come up this way, Barry.
Well, I would honestly, if I could pull it off, I would probably try to make a serious road trip everywhere. But I don't see my wife joining me. She, with her she's having some back problems, and she can't hardly ride an hour in our nice minivan.
Yeah, that gets rough.
So riding a Mustang is not going to happen.
Yep.
I would love to, but I just don't. Not really sounding good. Arthur, no guys, that's a 2021 or 20. Oh, the new Bronco, the new Bronco. Oh, okay. Clark asked about why would you delete the eccentric bolts, which you discussed. That was a good explanation. Euclid, I was watching for Barry. I want to see the challenge that Tim and Richards throw at you, and I hope you win. I would love it. I would love it. I've been watching that show, and I look at some of the stuff they do, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. They're looking for builders. When I mean by builders, they're talking people who build small things that are, I don't even know how you say, what the word is, but they're not really focused on car people.
Okay.
From what I'm seeing. But I've looked at some of the stuff they've done on the show, and I'm like, that would be a challenge, because you only have like 90 minutes to do the first project. And
that's taking a test.
Well, yeah, and they give you the materials, and you can use anything in your shop to help. But like one of the things I watched them build you were supposed to build a 2-way doggy door, where the dog would step on something and the door would open both ways.
Okay.
And you only had 90 minutes. That was a challenge.
You need to be creative and then be focused and then make it happen.
Yeah.
And then do it the next time.
Well, these guys, nobody actually completed the task.
Oh.
But 2 of them got closer than the third guy. So the third guy was eliminated. So I was like, man, I don't even know how one guy was trying to do saloon door style. One was, it was great ideas, but
some creativity going on there.
Yeah. Clark Clifford is saying sounds gimmicky, never had an eccentric move at all, and that may be, but I think I understand the concept. That's for sure. And Dave's saying the word is fabricators. Well, they use builders a lot, as far as, I'm trying to think of, like, I'm on cars. I build cars. But my other channel, I built like a picture frame, or I built a deer stand, or it's a fabricator, but it's a builder type of idea rather than, to me, fabricator comes to mind where, like, I'm building a car. I'm fabricating pieces for a car, whereas they're building, I almost want to say, more decorative stuff. It's not like it's industrial in my mind.
Functional and
Yeah, it's just
utilitarian.
functional, neat things. Like they'll build a little woodshed or something, or and it's not the same as a car type of stuff. But anyway, I see that I'm well past my 2 hours, so I am going to call it a night. But that's okay. We're all good. And Dave, I'm glad you were here. I like your idea of the lights and retrofitting those other parts and stuff like that. And of course, as you mentioned, the eccentric eliminator.
Yeah.
Let me know how that works out. Send me those pictures. You talked about those other accessories and stuff.
Ford Model A stuff. I will. Thanks for having me on. Good night, everybody.
We need to do it again sometime.
Yep.
All right. See you.
See you.
All right. So, where are we at here? Rick Gaines says April Wilkerson from YouTube is their consultant on the show. I remember her when she had nothing but hand tools. Yep. I never heard of her until I saw that show. Euclid, how did get a else Chalmers golf cart with me? Like, okay, how did I get that? I guess what you're saying came out of an old warehouse while they were tearing it down. Wow. Okay, then you found some good stuff. Dave Britton, thumbs up and good night. Yep. All right, so we're going to call it a night. I'm really glad to have these talks and chats and conversations. It makes things better. And hopefully I can get a video put together, at least on the bike, if nothing else. I do have other stuff going that I need to get addressed and work on. But again, thank you all for being here. We'll probably do this again Thursday, 3. And I'll post something about that, coming up. But that's going to be it. So until next time, take care of yourselves. See you.